I always believed family was supposed to be permanent. The people who raise you, protect you, stand beside you, no matter what. So I never imagined there would come a day when I'd have to choose between the family that gave me life and the woman who made my life worth living. But the moment my mother looked directly at my wife and said, "She will never belong here," something inside me changed forever. And from that day on, nothing in my life was the same again. I met my wife 3 years ago at a small cafe near my office. It wasn't romantic at first. She was sitting alone, working on her laptop, completely focused. I remember noticing how confident she looked, like someone who didn't need approval from anyone. We started talking because the cafe accidentally gave me her coffee order. A simple mistake. But we talked for almost 2 hours. She told me about her goals, her work, her dreams of building something on her own instead of depending on anyone. She laughed easily. She listened carefully. And for the first time in a long time, I felt understood. Our relationship grew slowly. Late-night phone calls, long walks after work, sharing fears about the future. She supported me when I doubted myself, and honestly, she made me a better person. So when I proposed, there was no hesitation. I thought love would be enough. The first time she met my parents, I noticed the tension immediately. My mother smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. My father asked polite questions, but his tone felt more like an interview than a conversation. "What does your family do? Where are they from? Do you follow our traditions?" My wife answered respectfully. She tried so hard to make a good impression. After we left, she asked me quietly, "Do they like me?" I lied. I said yes, because I wanted it to be true. At first, it was subtle. Family dinners where she wasn't included in conversations. Jokes disguised as humor. "Oh, she probably doesn't understand our customs. You'll learn eventually." Every comment sounded harmless alone, but together, they created distance. I noticed she stopped talking as much during visits. She would sit beside me, smiling politely, carefully choosing every word. On the drive home, she would always say the same thing: "I hope I didn't embarrass you." And every time she said that, guilt grew inside me, because she wasn't the problem. I just didn't want to admit it yet. When we announced our engagement, my family didn't celebrate. There were no hugs, no excitement, just silence. Later that night, my mother called me privately. "Are you sure about this?" she asked. "You barely know her culture. Marriage is not just love." I tried to explain how happy I was, but she replied, "Happiness fades. Compatibility with family matters more." That sentence stayed in my mind for weeks. Still, I believed time would fix everything. Our wedding should have been the happiest day of our lives. But even then, I noticed things. My relatives whispering, my mother correcting small details constantly, family members comparing her to how things are usually done. My wife smiled through everything. She held my hand tightly during the ceremony. Later, she told me, "As long as we're together, I can handle anything." I promised her she would never feel alone. I didn't realize how soon I would fail that promise. After we got married, expectations changed instantly. My family expected her to behave exactly like the daughters-in-law before her. Wake early, cook traditional meals perfectly, follow rituals she had never grown up with. She tried. She watched videos online to learn recipes. She asked my mother for guidance. But instead of teaching her, my mother criticized her. "You're cutting vegetables wrong. That's not how we do it. You should already know this." Each comment chipped away at her confidence, and I stayed quiet. I told myself I was avoiding conflict, but really, I was avoiding responsibility. The breaking point came during our first major festival together. Everyone gathered at my parents' house. The atmosphere felt tense, from the moment we arrived. My wife woke up at 5 in the morning to help prepare food. She wanted to prove she cared. But when she entered the kitchen, my mother stopped her. "No, leave it. I don't want mistakes today." The words were sharp. People heard. My wife stepped back silently. Later, during breakfast, my mother said loudly, "You should have married someone who understands our ways." The entire room froze. I looked at my wife. Her eyes were red, but she forced a smile, and I said nothing. On the drive home, the car was completely quiet. No music, no conversation, just silence. When we reached home, she went straight to the bedroom. Hours later, she finally spoke. "I feel like I don't belong anywhere." Her voice was calm but broken. "I try every day, and it's never enough." Then she said the sentence that changed everything. "I need you to stand beside me, not behind your family." I realized she wasn't asking me to choose sides. She was asking me to protect our marriage. 2 weeks later, my parents visited unexpectedly. They sat down, seriously. My father spoke first. "This marriage is creating distance in the family." My mother added, "If she cannot adjust, maybe this was a mistake." Something inside me snapped. For years, I had avoided confrontation, but hearing my wife described as a mistake crossed a line. I stood up and said, "She is my wife. She is my family now. If respecting her is difficult for you, then you are choosing to push me away." The room exploded into arguments. My mother cried. My father accused me of changing. My sister called me ungrateful. But for the first time, I didn't back down. They left angry. Days passed without messages. Then weeks. Family events happened without us. Photos appeared online. Birthdays, celebrations, gatherings. We were missing from all of them. At first it hurt deeply. I questioned my decision. But something surprising happened. Our home became peaceful. No tension. No judgment. Just us, talking, laughing, living. One evening I came home from work exhausted. She had cooked dinner and left a small note on the table. "Thank you for choosing us." I realized she had noticed everything. The sacrifice, the distance from my family. And instead of guilt, she gave me gratitude. That's when I understood what partnership really meant. 6 months later, she walked toward me, holding something in her hand. She looked nervous. "I need to show you something." It was a pregnancy test. Positive. Her hands were shaking. She asked softly, "Are you happy?" I hugged her before she finished the sentence. In that moment, every doubt disappeared. I didn't lose a family. I built a new one. Maybe one day my parents will accept her. Maybe they won't. But love isn't about keeping everyone comfortable. Marriage is about standing beside the person you promised forever to. And if I had to choose again, I would still choose her. Every single time.